Welcome back. Welcome back. We not at the headquarters on this, so this may sound a little weird. We are on the move. We still on vacation. I wasn't really gonna do a lot of work while on vacation, but man, I gotta hold it down for y'all, man. But we did get some news, and I try not to hop on all the news, but I did have a lot of thoughts about this news. So let's kind of talk about this news, right? This Jamal Adams trade to the Seattle Seahawks. And of course, we're going to go over the pros and cons of both sides. But this has been an interesting little run because this video is going to be talking about the trade, actually. But as a Cowboy fan, I've been incredibly close to this situation. I have a lot of opinions about this situation, bro. And to finally see it come to a head and be over with, I'm kind of relieved, man. I'm kind of relieved that I don't have to keep making videos about Jamal Adams and all that. You know what I mean? But let's get into the trade. I don't want to waste y'all time too long. So we're gonna look at this in two parts. Okay. Let's just look at part one right now. The Jamal Adams, right? The losing and acquiring of Jamal Adams. Of course, the Jets get a little bit worse and the Seahawks get a little bit better. Okay, that's just kind of clear. And I've seen a couple different takes about whether the Jets improve or well, not improve because they obviously get worse, right? But some are taking the side of by no means do you trade Jamal Adams. Some people are taking about time we get rid of that dude, right? It's interesting when you go on Jets Reddit, you see a lot of F word, B word, Jamal Adams in the same sentence. And I just think that's kind of weird. Y'all know how I feel about these internet people, about these I Am Legend monsters or whatever. Like the dude simply wanted to work at a different company and make a little bit more money. It's especially after finding out that his front office and his coaching staff is a bit incompetent. So I can't really blame him for wanting to go somewhere else. So I just in a perfect world, I would kind of like for Jets fans to kind of chill a little bit on that because Jamal might smack the shit out of one of y'all. I don't know, but anyway, the acquiring of Jamal Adams to the Seattle Seahawks is interesting on their side because they kind of got to make a decision, and this move shows the decision that they decided to make. Right? I always say that you're either trying to build a team or you're trying to win right now. And sometimes teams got to sell their soul to win right now. What I mean by sell your soul. You remember that one time the New York Giants spent like $500 million on defense? They were trying to make a run. Hey man, to be fair, Kansas City, going to get Sammy and then going to get Clark and both the linebackers that they got from Dallas or whatever, Honey Badger. They had to go make a few moves to, turn themselves into a Super Bowl team. You can be a good team, but being a Super Bowl team is different. You can even take a look at what happened with Jacksonville or what happened with the Rams, right? You just get a certain number of bodies with extra contract that you didn't anticipate having, and before long it could just blow up in your face, right? So that's kind of the deal with this whole Seahawks thing. They either trying to build a team or they trying to win a Super Bowl right now. They're clearly trying to win a Super Bowl right now. And a lot of people are, kind of likening this to the Legion of Boom Part 2. Here's the big difference, right? All those Legion of Boom 1 dudes, them dudes was drafted. You know what I mean? So you got free safety, strong safety, a really good corner, and another corner on the other side that's kind of a civilian, but it's his job to not just lose it all, right? The type of players are the same kind of sort of. Now, I'm not going to liken Quandre Diggs to an Earl Thomas. That's different. And I would even say that Jamal Adams is a better player than Cam Chancellor was, right? Griffin to Sherman, you can make whatever kind of little, parallels you would like, but the difference is those Legion of Boom dudes was cheap for a while. You know what I mean? Plus the guys in that front seven, those guys were like draft picks. There was a point in time where Seattle was drafting really good. And that's how you go to a Super Bowl, win one, and go back to another one and constantly become a playoff contender, right? It's different when you're acquiring these people, when you're relinquishing yourself of this draft capital. You're relinquishing yourself of all this money. And to be fair, let's be fair to Seattle for a little bit. I don't think Shaquille was breaking your back with monies. Jamal is still cheap for a little bit, and Quandre cool. He ain't really in a place where he's really gonna be one of those guys. But at some point, if you win like you think you're gonna win, that dollar amount goes up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're the Seahawks, you trying to win a Super Bowl this year, Russell Wilson 31, you just saying F everything else, then by all means, sir, do what you got to do, playboy. You know what I'm saying? Because in real life, Seattle ain't been drafting that well as of late. But I don't want to make this an excuse because Seahawks fans just kind of casually walking around saying, hey, man, our first round picks is trash anyway. Fam, by no means should you be excusing your front office for a terrible drafting. Now, to be fair, day 2 and day 3, you kind of get it right. But, you know, in a perfect world, you kind of want to hit on those day 1 guys too. Okay. Another angle to this Jamal Adams thing is we don't know his relationship with Seattle in terms of paying me now. You know, whoop, my bad. So, with the whole Jets thing, he was like, yo, man, it is so terrible here. Y'all got to pay me to keep me. Right. And then we get the news that the Jets wasn't going to pay him. So Jamal wanted to go. So he was like, hey, man, certain teams I will keep my rookie contract for. Other teams, y'all gonna have to pay me immediately. I'd imagine that if Jamal went to the Browns, they would have to pay him immediately. If he went to the Bengals, they'd have to pay him immediately. But if he would have gone somewhere where there's some, you know, contendership, whether it be Dallas, whether it be San Fran, or we're looking at Seattle, I don't think he's going to charge those teams for what they did to the Cold Crush, right? So we're looking at Jamal Adams on the Seahawks, right? And to be fair, he fits. I had a homie ask me, yo, Voch, I'm a Seahawks fan. Does he fit what we do? Jamal's good enough to where he fits everybody. He fits what everybody does. You know what I mean? So, you know, you definitely win if you have Jamal Adams, and you definitely lose if you let him go. That's just fair. And it's even better if you can get another cheap year out of him. You know what I mean? Now, you know, his rookie contract got like 2 more years on him, and you could, and to be fair, if you Seattle, you could just like retain his 2 rookie years and then like franchise him one time. You could be cutthroat and do that. You could do it. But that's neither here nor there. That is Super Voch general managing, but whatever. But let's talk about the actual picks now, right? We talked about the Jamal side. Let's talk about the picks for both teams. We'll start with Seattle, okay? It's so odd to me. I would like to know what their draft strategy is necessarily, you know what I mean? Because they as of late, they've been really bad at it in the first round, right? They seem to get it later on, but I think that it's harder to miss on day 2 because you got so many guys in that same talent bracket. You know what I mean? That as long as you in the ballpark, like it's hard to miss when DK Metcalf on the board on day 2. It's hard to miss there. You know what I mean? But it's, in my mind, it's even harder to draft Sean Penny in the first round. It's even harder to draft what's my man, Jordan Brooks? It's even harder to draft that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like with your first round pick. So that's weird. That's weird, you know, and it's not like there's something, oh, well, we're going to waste our first round picks anyway. Dude, you like hire a consultant or something to come in and be like, yo, fam, these are the guys that you don't spend your first round picks on. You know what I mean? Like that's something that you can fix. So I'm not with the Seahawks fans saying, hey, man, you know, damn these first round picks anyway. We normally miss on first round picks anyway. Sure. But you can fix a small tweak and not miss on first round picks anymore. So I think that's kind of weird there. But the Seahawks are posturing themselves to win this year and to flutter in the future. Now, what makes it interesting is Russell Wilson. And to be fair, I wasn't always on this team of Russell Wilson is elite because in my mind, he wasn't always elite. You know, being, you know, bolstered by a run game and one of the greatest defenses of all time. I think that was a lot of Russ's bag. But as of late, I think Russ has proven himself to be a lot more elite than he's ever been. So now I'm complying to the notion that Russell is elite now. He's the second best quarterback in the league. But my thing, and I was talking to a Seahawk fan about this on Twitter or whatever, and I love when I get to talk about non-Cowboy matters because I do not have a horse in the race, right? Russell Wilson is 31, And the Seahawks are hell bent on the current offensive line that they having being good enough to where that they don't need to make any improvements, because in the past couple of years they either been drafting bad guys or they just ain't been drafting guys at all. I think one of the things that can help you deal with Russell Wilson, getting a little bit older, is to get him a better offensive line. I think at some point he's going to transition into a world to where he's not going to be doing all that magical stuff he's been doing, all that moving around and such. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they might want to invest in some offensive line help for Russell, but they just took 2 first-round picks and a third, right? And they gave it to the Jets. So those picks that you would be drafting offensive line with, those picks you would be bolstering up defense, because you can't pay everybody. So at some point you're gonna have to let somebody go and pay them, or either pay them or let them go and draft somebody to replace them. At some point, them dudes ain't even gonna exist, because you ain't got draft picks to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have draft picks to supplant that fully. So now what? Now what? You gotta win right now. If you the Seahawks, you gotta win right now, because there ain't much room for backup plans. I find that incredibly interesting. Just like if you're the Texans, I talk about this all the time. Hey man, Deshaun Watson need help, but what ain't helping him is you giving away draft picks that you could be using to help. You could be using those draft picks to draft help, and they may not be what they could be year one. But that's why you don't miss on the draft. So by the time you get to year 3, you get a really quality first-round pick or a really quality third-round pick, There are some people using the argument, well, Voch, this first-round pick could be great. Jamal Adams is great. Okay, cool. And to be fair, I agree. But I'm talking about this from a Voch Lombardi perspective. You're talking from a Seahawk fan perspective. Right? Because a lot of fans teams draft so terribly, they've become conditioned to the fact that their teams draft terribly. Y'all write that down, man. Somebody save that clip. Somebody save that. That's going to be on the test. Hey, look, sometimes your team's so bad at drafting, you become comfortable with it. I think that's why Cowboy fans, Ravens fans, Vikings fans, I think we value draft picks different. Steelers fans, we value draft picks different. A Jets fan don't care about draft picks. Seahawks fans don't care about draft picks. I'm sure new Green Bay fans don't care about draft picks, because you come around and you're in this time to where, I get excited for the draft, but for what? To draft Jordan Brooks in the first round? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So from a Voch Lombardi perspective, I can draft really well, and I know I can, because all my favorite players end up being good players, and they just end up being good players in the league. It's just you just can't deny that I draft well. Can I deny that the Seahawks draft well? Yup, because we have proof of the Seahawks not drafting so well. You see what I mean? So in my mind, if I know I can draft, hell yeah, 2 first rounders and a third means something to me, because you may be poo-pooing on a first round pick, but damn, that late first round pick could be Nuke Hopkins. That late first round pick could be Byron Jones. That late first round pick could be TJ Watt. And they be like, well, Voch, Jamal Adams is better than TJ Watt. All right, cool. He's not better than TJ Watt and Nuke Hopkins and a third round pick and Michael Gallup. Let me ask y'all this. Chat box. Let me just say, no. How about this? Wait. How about this, right? How about this? Let me put this in cowboy brain. Let me just put this in cowboy brain, bro. You mean to tell me Byron Jones, and we use one of them first on Amari Cooper. All right, cool. Byron Jones, Amari Cooper, and Jordan Lewis, and Xavier Woods. All right. Because they gave up a safety that's on their team already. You giving up those 4 players for Jamal Adams. That's what makes this thing kind of weird. Now, if you the Seahawks and you're not trying to build a team, by all means. But if you're trying to build a team, not going to be able to do it. That's why this is so good for the Jets, because the Jets weren't going to be good next year. The Jets ain't going to be good next year. Maybe not after that. But if you acquire enough picks and you hit on those picks, it could drastically change your entire franchise. That's real talk. I'd be hating when the Browns and the Dolphins get all these picks and they just draft terribly and it don't matter. Right? It just don't matter anyway because they just drafting bad. You know? If you can get these picks and actually hit on them, then one draft can change your franchise for 3 years. I think that's what you need. I think that's very important to team building, you know? So bravo to the Jets. Bravo to the Jets. But in terms of the draft pick side of the trade, the Seahawks got fleeced. Fleeced, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it like this, bro. Because let's think about all the things you could do with first round picks. Because like I said, I'm just having conversations on the Twitter machine. Yes, you maybe miss on first round picks, right? But think about 2 firsts, a third, and you know what I'm saying? And like a whole safety. Then the Seahawks could have gotten what? Calais Campbell, Frank Clark, and Amari Cooper or something. You know what I'm saying? Think about that though. Think about that. Like, think about what other teams are giving up for premier players. And you're the Seahawks. And you got 2 first round picks and a third. Hell, go get Minka Fitzpatrick, my guy. Go get Frank Clark. Go get DeForest Buckner. Right? How about this? Seahawks fans, and I'm about to tweet the hell out this right now. Would you rather have Jamal Adams or DeForest Buckner, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Calais Campbell? And Calais went for a 5th, but you'll be happy to give up a 3rd for him. I just can't think of who got traded for a 3rd recently. But you would absolutely take that haul of players, you know what I'm saying, over the Jamal Adams pick. And it's not that Jamal Adams is a bad player. He's just one box safety. And if you look at the other, players that got traded, the other, teams that got, you know what I mean? Like, they're not giving up 2 first round picks. That's quarterback money. That's quarterback money. For 2 first round picks, you can move up to the front of the draft with 2 first round picks, Seattle. I think they kind of panicked a little bit, you know? Like if I'm a team in the 20s and I want to move up to a top 10 draft pick or a top 5 pick, you can go get Chase Young for damn 2 first round. I don't know, man. It is what it is, and I could just sit up here and mumble about this all day, but I really I think I made my points, man. Seahawks kind of got fleeced in terms of draft picks. The Jets absolutely improved. So hell, if the Jets are the worst team in football next year, then they can get Sunshine and then draft somebody to help him out. You know? Ain't that lovely? Ain't that lovely? And then with Sunshine, you can go and draft 2 first rounders next year to help Sunshine out. Ain't that lovely? Ain't that lovely? Or with that 2nd first round pick, you ain't gotta draft nobody. You could use that other first round pick to go get another superstar player that's on the trade block that some team trying to give away. Sure. Jets? It ain't like your team is terrible. I mean, you lose Jamal Adams, but and that's another conversation for a whole nother blog. And I know that this one's, running pretty long. But how much worse did the Jets get? I know the Seahawks got better. Okay? The Seahawks did get better. But how much worse did the Jets get by losing Adams compared to how much better they got with those draft picks? I think it's interesting. Y'all let me know in the chat box, man. And this has been a long running ass video, so y'all can kind of if y'all made it to this point, I appreciate y'all for making it to this point. I will probably premiere this thing. It's only like a picture and me talking because I'm not at the headquarters right now, but I did have a little bit of equipment to kind of throw this video together because I wanted y'all to get my thoughts on it. All right. With that being said, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Hold it down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Whiskey, man. Follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Like the video and sub. Till next time. Peace.